we are working on today is how to apply geometric tolerances. So I have here on my screen, I have an example of a drawing, and it has some things here that need to be completed on the drawing with respect to geometric tolerances. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. And I'm just going to use my pencil to do that. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to make the right-hand face and the side view flat within 0.005 and identify that as datum feature A. So I already have an extension line there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply that here. I'm going to make this extension line a little bit longer. And I'm going to go ahead and put my block for my datum here. And I'm going to go ahead and make that flat within 0.005. And there we go. You can see that it's there. Now, one thing I do want to point out to you is that just because it's up here does not mean that it has to be up there. We can also have an extension line going down below and put our information there. For number 2, it says make the top surface in the plan view perpendicular within 0.005 to datum A, and if I identify this surface as datum B. So I'm going to go to this, back to the drawing again, and the top surface is located here. I'm going to make my extension line longer. I'm going to make that perpendicular to A within 0.005. And I'm going to make sure that my FCF, my feature control frame, is tangent to the extension line, just like so. Now on the other side of the extension line, I'm going to go ahead and put my datum reference block for my B. And there is my number 2. Going back to the page, make the left-hand surface in the plan view perpendicular to 0.005 to datum A and B and identify that as datum feature C. So this is my plan view and this is my left-hand surface right here. Now I have an extension line. I can extend it up and put that information up there if I want, or I can put it below. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my extension line. Here's my FCF. And again, my FCF, my feature control frame, has to be tangent to the extension line. And I'm drawing my datum boxes there. And this is going to be datum C. So the datum can be on either side of the extension line. I'm going to go ahead and draw it here. And I'm going to make sure that this datum reference does not come anywhere close to the other FCF. Moving on to number 4, it says make all dimensions basic except, of course, the size tolerances. So any dimensions that I have no size tolerances for, I'm going to make them basic. And basically what I'm doing there is I'm putting a box around them. So here we go with those. I'm putting my box around for the ones that do not have size tolerances associated to them. Okay, all the others, actually, and there's this one here as well. The ones that are here for the center hole and for the thickness, and for these 3 holes have a top and lower tolerance, so we can't make them basic. Moving on, position the 3 holes within a diameter zone of 0.010 at MMC to datums A, B, and C. So that, since it's going to a diameter dimension, I don't have to make my FCF tangent to an extension line because there is no extension line. And since this tolerance is going to apply 3 times for each one of these holes, I can go ahead and put that underneath of the dimension that's there. I've got a position tolerance, diameter zone, 0.010 with an N. I'm kind of running out of space here because I'm drawing this by hand. If I'm doing this in AutoCAD, it would be not much neater, but I'm just trying to show you how to apply these. And I paused the video so I could just go back and clean up that FCF. And you see that the FCF is underneath the dimension, but I have to make sure that it does not intersect the part. Going back to my page here, again, I'm going to go to number 6, position the 0.25 diameter hole within a diameter zone of 0.008 RFS in relation to A, B, and C. Now, RFS means that I don't necessarily have to apply any modifiers. RFS is implied if no modifiers are present. So I'm going to go back to that particular hole, and that is the center hole. And again, anytime I'm applying a geometric tolerance to a hole, I can just put that FCF below. So I'm going to put my FCF here. I'm going to pause, and there is my FCF underneath of that particular hole. Now, if I go back to my directions here, these are all done and I'm left with number 7. Now, if you look at number 7, I went ahead and made some changes because what they had specified was not correct. Since we already have a datum A and B listed, we can no longer use them to label as points. So here, what we did is we made some small changes. In the plan view, we're going to identify the far right-hand corner of the top surface as point D instead of A, and then the lower left-hand surface as point E. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those. So I'm going to have this noted as point D, and I'm going to have this noted as point E. Going back to my directions, it says on the contoured surface between D and E, apply a profile tolerance of 0.020 related to datum A, B, and C. Under the profile feature control frame, state that the tolerance applies between D and E. So going back, that basically means that this surface that is curved is going to have a profile tolerance associated to it. So the profile tolerance, I am allowed to point directly to the geometry. So I'm going to go ahead and point directly to the geometry. And I'm going to go ahead and put my profile tolerance of 0.020 and apply that to A, B, and C. And I'm going to put my feature control frame around. And again, this is a little crude because I'm using my marker. I'm not doing this in AutoCAD. And that's going to apply from D to E. And there we go with our application of geometric tolerances.